Hi again, Panther fans, and welcome into this week's Georgia State Football Weekly with head coach Trent Miles. I'm Dave Cohen. Panthers on the road again this week, going to take on the Mountaineers of Appalachian State Saturday afternoon up at Kidd Brewer Stadium in Boone. Coach, welcome. Tough one last week, and now all the attention turns to Appalachian State.
Yeah, we can't sit around and worry about what happened last week. We've got to move right on. They were a good football team, great tradition, great program. We're going to go into a hostile environment in the cold and maybe snow and take our show on the road and see if we can score a bunch of points.
Well, we're going to see some highlights here in just a moment, but what an afternoon for Donovan Harden. He ends up with 4 touchdowns, 11 catches, should have had 5 touchdowns. I know that's the one he wants back, but he still had an outstanding afternoon.
Yeah, Donovan's had an outstanding season. He's a great young man that is a fierce competitor. And Saturday he was able to do some really good things, just like he'd been doing all year long, but a little bit more of it. Nick went to him quite a few times, and he got locked in some man coverages and really did a good job for us.
For Donovan, 11 catches, 186 yards, 4 touchdowns. Of course, credit goes to Nick Arbuckle, too, because he's the guy that threw him the football. Right now, let's go to the Georgia Dome here in Atlanta and take a look at some of the highlights, Coach. Georgia State, Georgia Southern.
Thought we had a great crowd. A lot of Georgia Southern and a lot of Georgia State people. It's loud and fun. See Nick starting it off with a long pass to Avery Sweeting. I think that was on our first series. And Nick being able to come back here and find Linquez Blair, 87, who kind of threw me a little bit, but Linquez wore that jersey in honor of Nate Miner, who tore his ACL earlier in the week. Then you see Nick being able to pick up Donovan on a fade route there versus man. And Nick coming back, again, working man-to-man with Donovan for the touchdown.
300-plus yards passing for Nick Arbuckle again, just tearing it up.
Yeah, he likes to go to the deep ball. Here again, he goes to the deep ball to Donovan. He's able to beat Guy over the top of the coverage, get another touchdown.
A play like that, you really see Donovan's speed.
Yeah, Donovan's a very fast person. He's got great hands.
Yeah.
You know, I know he dropped the one, but every now and then guys drop the pass. But you know, he's able to go attack the ball. He does a good job of going and getting it, just like Robert Davis did there. You know, Robert had a very good game also. He was able to attack the ball at the high point, go get it, and then you got Donovan beating the guy in man again. You know, he's a tough guy, played man coverage on him.
You knew it would be a lot of Donovan Harden highlights.
Yes, it was. He hitting him again over the middle on a crossing route. Donovan doing a good job of avoiding and using his speed to get into the end zone. Cut into their lead a little bit, but just not quite enough.
But again, good crowd in the Georgia Dome. First meeting between Georgia State and Georgia Southern now as members of the Sun Belt Conference. Those are some of the highlights from the game last week. Again, Appalachian State coming up this Saturday. Coach and I will be back after this timeout. Talk a little bit about the Panthers and the Mountaineers. You're watching Georgia State Football Weekly.
Okay, when you're on the job, you're making tough decisions around the clock. Well, here's an easy one. Ford F-Series. It's a fact. On average, every 42 seconds, someone forks over their hard-earned cash to get one. Just like that. And that. And that. No wonder they're the best-selling brand of trucks in America for 37 years in a row. Hey, there goes another one. See you in 42. Ford F-150. Ford Super Duty. #1 for 37 years straight.
We're back on Georgia State Football Weekly along with head coach Trent Miles. And again, the Panthers on the road this week. Kidd Brewer Stadium in Boone, North Carolina. Sun Belt Conference matchup and first meeting between these two teams. They're another one of the newcomers to the Sun Belt Conference. And for this Georgia State football team, as you get ready to go into that game coming out of last week, a lot of the preparation this week, at least early in the week, getting ready for this one was right up here. It was mental.
Yes, we've got to get our kids on track mentally. Anytime you have a tough loss, you've got to get them back, and you've got to get them thinking beyond of what they just experienced. So, that's our job as coaches to get them going and get them to the starting gate. And we can't, as coaches, be down for losing. We've got to be up and get them up and get them a great plan and find a way to get them to execute mentally as well as physically.
Well, we were talking earlier this week during your weekly media news conference, and one of the first things you mentioned about them, you were talking about the offensive line but also about the offense, just how well balanced they are. It's almost dead even run to pass.
Yeah, they're about 270 running, 270 passing, and they've also, in the last game against Troy, were able to run for over 400 yards. So they're a very good offense. They're a really good offensive line, really good young quarterback, some skill at the receiver position and tailback position. So we'll have our work cut out for us trying to slow them down. And then defensively, they're a good football team. They've got a good defensive end, corner, safety, linebackers. I mean, this is a good football team that we're playing. Don't pay attention to their record. We've got to go out and execute, play better than we've ever played, and hopefully we'll have a chance in the cold and snow to knock them off at home.
Seems like week after week when we talk about the opposing team's quarterback, it's always a dual threat guy. And Taylor Lamb, he's a freshman, passed for over 1,300 yards so far, 9 touchdowns. He's been intercepted 6 times, but the other stat that jumped out, he also is dangerous running the football, averaging almost 7 yards per rush.
Yeah, it's one of those things where he, just at the right time, he'll pull the ball and take off and run. And he's got great instincts. He's a coach's son, so he knows what he's doing, and he's performed very well as a freshman. And he's made a few freshman mistakes throwing the ball, but he's also done some great things. And we're going to really have to work to contain him and do a good job of keeping an eye on him so that he doesn't pop the runs on us.
All right, Coach, appreciate it. Best of luck in Boone, and we'll talk to you right here next week.
Thank you.
All right, for Coach Trent Miles, I'm Dave Cohen. Stay with us. We'll get back with our final segment right after this time out on Georgia State Football Weekly.
Gutterman Group is a go.
Yes! Not just a startup, an upstart. Gotta get going.
Gotta be good.
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 Growth is the goal. How do we do that?
I talked to UPS. They'll help us out. New technology, smart advice. We focus on the business, and they take care of the logistics.
UPS.
Good going.
We get good. That's great.
Great. Great.
Great.
Great.
Great. Great. Great.
Great.
Great.
I love logistics.
Back here on Georgia State Football Weekly, our final segment. Panthers back on the road, and it seems like Panthers have been a better football team on the road than they have been at home in the Georgia Dome. So hopefully that holds true, and we'll see what happens up in Boone on Saturday. If you're going to the football game, bring a heavy coat, bring a hat, because it's going to be cold, at least according to the weather forecast. Could be upper 30s, lower 40s by game time, and that is a 3:30 Eastern time kick. If you can't be there, you can listen, 3 o'clock airtime on the Georgia State Football Radio Network, 1340 a.m., 1230 a.m., the 2 stations in Atlanta covering the football game this Saturday. So thanks for watching. Thanks for Coach Miles, the entire crew. Dave Cohen saying we'll see you next week right here on Georgia State Football Weekly.